Good morning and welcome to this edition of the Lynn Hayes Freeland Show. We have a lot to do this morning on the show. Now, certainly there has been a lot to talk about in the news, from Charlottesville to the president. We're going to dissect all of that a little bit later in the program. We begin, however, with the subject that if I say the bridge, many of you might think about one of the bridges throughout the tri-state area. But in fact, the bridge is something altogether different. And Cameron Clay is here to talk about it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
So is there a play on the word bridge because of the bridges in Pittsburgh?
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, we're known as the city of bridges, obviously. And when you think about a bridge, you think about a structure that enables you to get from one place to another that otherwise would pretty much be impossible for that to happen. So that's the play on words, absolutely. The Bridge 17 is really meant to be a structure that we believe God is building to connect things that have otherwise been separated for a long time.
Now, your focus is on young people, on your age. Talk to me about who this is going to be.
Yeah, so the Bridge is focused on millennials.
Okay.
It's not exclusive to millennials, but focused from the standpoint of it's really us who are the driving force behind it. It's something that God placed on our hearts and that we really feel is important. But the Bridge is about bridging gaps that are generational gaps, so the gaps between millennials and, say, baby boomers or Gen Xers or the silent generation, so bridging those generational gaps. And then also cultural and racial gaps as well. So just any of the gaps that have really kept people divided, that's what the Bridge is focused on addressing.
So in that regard, it's really very timely that you're doing this the first week. Is it the first weekend in September?
Yes, Labor Day weekend.
Because we have seen in the past week just how divided we are as a nation.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we've seen just really current situations just bring to light, I think, the reality of where we've been for quite some time. And it's only God can orchestrate the timing in the way that he has for this particular situation for us to be going into the Bridge the first weekend of September, right on the heels of everything that's going on in our nation.
All right, let's talk about where, when, and I know you have some of the speakers lined up, but not all. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. So it's going to be at Petra International Ministries. It's going to be September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, so it's a full weekend, Friday through Sunday.
Okay. Now, is it all day Friday or starts Friday evening?
It starts Friday evening.
Okay.
And then it's all day Saturday, and then on Sunday it's more of your typical church service hours, morning into the early afternoon. There's going to be tons of people who are coming from all over the country. Some of the worship leaders, just to name a few, would be Jay Thomas, Chris Burns, Jasmine Tate, Ricardo White, Jason Washington from right here in Pittsburgh. So a ton of just awesome and powerful worship leaders that'll be here. And it's going to be exciting.
Now, this is open to anyone who wants to come.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everyone is welcome. Anyone is welcome. Yeah.
And you have a website.
Yes.
And
yes. www.thebridge17.com. And that's where you're going to be able to get updates. You're going to be able to read more about the vision and the heart behind the Bridge. And you'll also be able to register online so that you can receive all the information you need leading up to September 1st.
Okay, I was going to say, and that's important because you do want people to register. Is there a deadline to register? And is there a cost to all of this?
There is not a deadline and there is not a cost. So it's absolutely free. We need people to register so that we can be prepared for how many people are there, because we will have some information that we want to provide people with, as well as when it comes to just the facility and wanting to be prepared for how many people are going to be there. We want everyone to register so we know who's coming and from where, and we can be prepared to give you information that you need. Now,
you kind of said that the millennials are a big part of this. Yes. Are there issues that face millennials, do you think, in 2017 that other people probably don't even think about?
Absolutely, absolutely, because our generation is faced with just massive amounts of information at our fingertips, which can absolutely be a good thing, but it can also be a distraction. Because if you think about previous generations, when there were things going on around the world, you either had to be there or you had to know someone who was there, unless it got on a really large national scale for you to really understand what's going on. Now you pick up your phone and right at your fingertips, you can see something questionable or something that might be unethical that happened across the country, and you can see it that quick. So because of that information access that we have, it gives us a lot of opinions, and it makes us kind of stagnant in what we want to attach ourselves to or what we want to be a part of, because we have so much information that that we're making decisions probably with more information than any other generation has ever made their decisions
Absolutely,
with.
and you're right. That's kind of a double-edged sword, because sometimes too much information can be a bad thing.
Yes.
All right, I don't want to run out of time. So it's September 1st,
1st
2nd?
through 3rd.
1st through 3rd. Starts Friday night the 1st.
Yes.
And is that like around 6 o'clock?
Right around 6
So
o'clock.
folks who are working don't have to feel like, I can't get there, so I'm not going to go.
No, no, and because it's a constant happening. There's different worship leaders who are getting up. So even if you're going to be there a little late on Friday or Saturday or Sunday, still come, because it's going to absolutely be something for you no matter what time you get there.
And give us the website again.
www.thebridge17.com.
And that's actually Labor Day weekend, so there could be lots of folks who are in town.
Yes.
Is this one of those register and bring somebody with you kind of things?
Yes. That people will bring a friend, tell a friend to bring a friend, and that anyone who's in the area will definitely come by.
Last question then, at the end of this weekend, what is it you hope people walk away with?
Well, that's a great question. What we're hoping that people walk away with is a new level of relationship and access to each other. So we want to really get a group of people together Labor Day weekend who get closer in genuine relationship. We bridge those gaps between just the basic kind of high and by relationships to where we really get to know each other, so that when things are happening like what we saw happen in Virginia, or when things are happening around the world, we have access to this group of people who we can mobilize quickly and say, hey, we need to do something positive because of what's happening.
Interesting. Good luck. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much.
The Bridge 17, you mentioned to me before we started that means next year there's going to be the Bridge 18.
Absolutely.
Perfect. We're glad to hear it.
Thank you.
We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to dissect some of the things we've seen in the news lately, from Washington to Virginia. So don't go away when the Lynn Hayes Freeland Show continues.